Hello, happy Monday. Welcome to the second look. This is Back of the Nets. Not that exuberant start that we've come to know and love, right? My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
If you're brand new to the channel, just want to say thank you so much for all the recent new subscribers, but also some of the comments that we've got. It's absolutely lovely to see. This one is going to be a painful one, but if you haven't done those two things that we always ask, it would be really appreciated if you could do that right now.
Go on. Thank you. No, I really appreciate it. We've had a lot of new subscribers and people comment on the channel, so I really appreciate it. Keep commenting as well when you click that like button. Just leave us a little comment why you liked it, because no, we really appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah, we certainly do. So we're pleased to announce that this season Back of the Net is sponsored by Green King Sport, where football is more than a game.
Green King Sport venues are showing every single televised Bournemouth fixture over the 23-24 season.
And with over 900 sports pubs across the UK, it doesn't really matter whether you're based in Bournemouth or
Barrow.
You can catch every single minute of the action there.
So keep an eye out during the season for events, offers, content and competitions that put you closer to the action.
There is an international break, so no Premier League games on the horizon, and by golly, maybe we need that break, don't we? But look, at a Green King Sports Pub, you can get TNT, Sky Sports, and then in December when the Amazon games kick off as well. Our next game, that's on Sky, 11th of November against a certain Mr. Eddie Howe, Newcastle United. But if you can't get to the game, get to a Green King Sport Pub. Okay, we'll start with the bad news. I mean, Bournemouth are still in the relegation zone. Tom, that was never in doubt after that 3-0 humiliation at Goodison Park. But the good news, we'll caveat this, all right? The baseline tracker, we go on about this baseline tracker, all right? I'm just going to, for people watching on YouTube, here it is. I mean, I talked about it on the vlog. It means nothing really because, yes, we're on course. So, look, just to explain it for people who've asked me over the weekend, even in the pub, someone was asking, it treats your home games as bankers. So if you drop points there, you get negative. You don't get plus points for winning home games. You get plus points for beating the top 6 either home or away, or the other 14 away. So had we beaten Everton, we'd have been on +3. As it was, theirs was a home banker. So we didn't actually lose or gain any points, nor did they. But that stat does not reflect how bad it was. Everton, I mean, they're on -5 on the baseline track table, which pretty much shows you what you need to know. I think it suited our agenda, not that we've got one, for a bit, and it just tried to put people into some kind of perspective amongst a number of manic episodes that I was seeing played out on social media. However, from the social media reaction, from the eye test, from people who watched on TV, everything seems quite bad at the moment. And that was all because there was a 90-minute performance that didn't show any improvement on the horror show that we had against Arsenal. With Arsenal, you can maybe quantify it. You're playing a team that's done amazingly well. They've just beaten Manchester City to go joint top of the league. They're a class side. Everton, no disrespect intended, because, you know, some of their results may not have shown their true qualities recently. They're not up to that level. No. So we wanted to go there and show some fight, and we wanted to compete, but we just didn't do that.
No, we didn't, mate. Disappointing there's no vodka in this, got to be honest. No, listen, yeah, onto the baseline thing. I think literally, think of the word base. It is like a little base of going, right, how are we doing, just like in that sense. But yeah, ultimately, like you say, it's Everton are really bad at home. We all know this, and I agree. I think they're, you know, people that like your kind of XG stats and stuff. I think Everton were doing quite well in that. It was more that they weren't finishing their chances and they were letting in silly goals. But yeah, the fact of the matter is they've got a bad record at home for a reason. So any team that goes there is going to feel like they've got a chance. I don't think that's being disrespectful at all. And they look like a team that were just head and shoulders above us. They look like a team full of confidence, which shouldn't be the case, especially at home. As I say, they haven't even picked up a point there before the game, so they shouldn't have been in any confidence. And I think the problem is we've done it a few times now. We're giving the team confidence by giving them a goal, as we did. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think I said it on the vlog. They scored after 8 minutes. They were all over us before that. You know, they were all over us in the first 7. But we give them a goal, and then from our perspective, I feel like we'll come on to it a little bit, but I feel like when we're conceding, we're then going into our shells a little bit, and we look devoid of any confidence and bravery, and the way that obviously Andoni ideally wants us to play. I think the players, once you make an error like that, then find it difficult to express themselves as much as Andoni wants.
Yeah.
And none of them want to take responsibility, so they're all just giving a little pass to their mate and going, "Go on, you do something, you do something, you do something." And I think when things like this happen, you start looking deeper and you start going, "Where's the leaders? There's a lot of young lads out there. Who's grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck out there? Who is the one that's going to?" And you look at the players and you go, "Oh, I'm not sure they're." We could even go into last season and go, "Oh, someone like a Lerma might put a tackle in that gets everyone going." He's that sort of character. Even Lloyd, who obviously there's been question marks over. I think sometimes he shows a bit of quality from the back, and you think, okay. And I looked at the team when we went a goal down, and we were making a few errors, and I didn't see anyone that could get us out of it really. And that's including the substitutes bench, and that's a squad full of really talented footballers. But when you start seeing what's happening, you go, "Is that where you need a little bit more than that?" And Everton had it. I don't think Everton had any better footballers on paper, but they had a few players that went to war for them and made sure they got the 3 points.
And under Sean Dyche, you're always going to get that response, especially when their backs are against the walls. And I think that they probably had the same aspersions cast on them before the game on Saturday as we did maybe a couple of games ago, where we could explain, look, we are teetering at the base of the table, at the bottom of the table, but we're seeing some good performances. We're shooting, we're doing some good things, and that's what the Everton fans said on the YouTube comments. Because in our pinned comment on the vlog that I posted on Sunday morning, I said, just tell us what you thought, and that was for both Cherries fans and Everton fans. And Everton fans came back and said the Luton result last week was an absolute fluke. I wouldn't read into that too much. Someone else said, an Arsenal fan here, and I can tell you that Goodison is never an easy place to go to, no matter what Everton's form was. Another person said, you just caught the backlash from Luton. To be fair, we've created 44 chances on goal over the last 8 games and just haven't converted. It's fair to say, if it's luck or judgment, I'm probably more judgment than luck. They seem to do a lot of them against Bournemouth because we were poor, and the 3-0 scoreline, I mean, obviously we were there, we saw it, but even watching things like Match of the Day or little highlights reel, that flattered us so much.
Yeah, it did.
It could have been 5 or 6 easily.
Yeah, it did.
And what's worrying is that, okay, rock and roll football, chaotic, organised chaos. So if they're maybe should be scoring 6, we should be scoring 5. We barely had any chances apart from when Kiefer Moore came on in the last 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, and you just chuck a few balls in, like you say, he got his head on a couple. But that's it, bang on. I think that I always said when we obviously made the change that the change clearly wasn't. I wasn't kind of excited about the change because that would change results necessarily, because we stayed up comfortably in the end with games to spare, and I'll always take that at the moment, being the club we are, and hopefully build from there. It was more the fact that I was falling asleep watching games. It was so boring, and I thought, all I know about this manager and all everyone's telling me, this coach, is that it's going to be exciting. So I can always accept defeats. We're Bournemouth fans. We know what it's like to lose football matches. I just thought at least it'll be better on the eye and we'll have a go. And that's why. And I could kind of put that to the side when you're playing against teams like Arsenal, because you have to you obviously don't want to do that all the time because you think, come on, you want to be competitive in them games, but they're a class side and we're still learning. But yeah, when you go to somewhere like Everton, where, like I said, they haven't got anything at Goodison, you want to at least create some stuff. And we never looked like creating anything. There was no rock and roll football there whatsoever. It was dire, absolutely dire. We can't defend, and then we never looked like we can score either. It was just everything really was really, really bad. And there's no real surprise that they've suddenly got the goals that they haven't been getting at Goodison, and could have got more, because defensively absolutely all over the place. Our goalkeeper is awful at the moment, in my opinion. And yeah, I just don't see anything really, and that's the main concern. Like you said, I don't mind if we lose games. And I think it was Alex Doyce actually on Twitter. If it wasn't, I apologise. I think it was his tweet that said that it feels like well, at the Brighton game, there was a lot of positives in that game. I remember that first half. I remember thinking, I tell you what, look at this Brighton side.
To go toe to toe with them.
Yeah, they're a bloody good side, and we're having a go in. And we might lose the game, which we ended up doing, but fair play for us for going for it, because we lost last season when we didn't try. Yeah. Tongue in cheek, you know what I'm trying to say. And then since Kirk has his own goal, miss what Alex put, everything's gone downhill. Like, it's been awful ever since that own goal. Yeah. Whereas just moments before that own goal, I think, I'll tell you what, here we go. I'm starting to get it. And then since then, and all I could put that down to is a lot of it is down to confidence, in my opinion, because we did see in them really early games, and like I say, that Brighton game, Brentford game, moments against West Ham and at Anfield, you thought, okay, I can see a little sprinkle of rock and roll, like we're really going for teams. And then since we kind of threw it away at Brighton, it feels like the lads haven't got the confidence to do that anymore. Yeah. For whatever reason. And whatever we're trying to do just isn't happening at the moment. And obviously, if you're going to try and be a little bit open, then you need to defend well, and we certainly ain't doing that either.
No. It made me chuckle at full time when I saw a stat that we got 666 touches in the game, and it was a devilish performance, not in a good way. That was actually Sean Dyche's 6th win in a row in the league against AFC Bournemouth. But I wouldn't say the writing was on the wall, because that's harsh, but chatting to you, chatting to Trevor, chatting to a number of people in the pub beforehand, there were a few surprises with the team lineup when it was named. Mainly down to why he's choosing certain players to go into certain positions. And Ouattara is a player that obviously we all want him to do well, but we're finding him a frustrating watch at the moment. There's got to be a reason why he's played. Maybe he's trying to play him back into confidence or something, I don't quite know, but his inclusion raised the eyebrows of many, and as the game progressed, we just sort of rolled our eyes a little bit in disappointment.
Yeah, it was a real concern, and as I say, we've kind of made the odd change here and there quite often this season, but I think whether it's been surprise or not, I've never been what I would say is disappointed with the lineup. I've always thought, I thought he'd play Semenyo, he's playing Clive. There was no real. This is the first time I thought, I'm not sure about that. In terms of theirs, they were pretty much. I mean, obviously they didn't go for Arnie. I thought they might, but it was weird actually, because there was I remember being confused during the game. I was watching it going, it said Onana's not playing, but apparently Onana was on the bench, and then was it Garner Gay who was supposed to be starting, got injured in the warm up.
Right.
So that's why Onana ended up playing. I think Mark behind me was going, you said he wasn't playing. I said, oh no, I don't think he was. And then obviously McNeil played as well, and Harrison. But yeah, I was very surprised. I mean, initially, I think I said to you, mate, I was trying to work out what I thought he was doing. I thought, okay, if he's decided whether that's right or wrong, I didn't really get it. But he's obviously decided he wanted Smith in at right back for a game. Okay. So then I thought, okay, so does that mean he's thinking him and Ouattara played a lot back in the last season on that right side? Yeah. So I thought, okay, maybe he's looking for a partnership. Okay, kind of get it a little bit more now. Then the game starts and Ouattara's on the left.
He does switch at some point.
He does. They do switch a lot. But yeah, it didn't really make too much sense to me. And as you say, Matt, I don't really understand. He's clearly I mean, Sinisterra obviously has had very little minutes, but he's clearly our least performing winger at the moment, and we know how many options we got there. So it's a bit baffling. The Stoke game I understood in the Cup, because he played him, he wasn't playing very well, and he kept him on all game, and I thought, that's fair enough. It's a Cup game, we've won it. Keep him on, get him into some form. He's missed pre-season, but to start him in this game really did baffle me. And then, unfortunately, I really wanted to be proven wrong there, and him just have a stormer and think, God, I'm glad I'm not a gaffer, because he knows a lot more than me. But unfortunately, Ouattara was absolutely hopeless. So, that's worrying. And obviously, we're going to more in the game. But, I was thinking all game, how's Semenyo not got on? Then I thought afterwards, Clive was on the bench as well. How did them two not get a minute, by the way?
And you went down and you didn't see the moment from Dongo that just summed up his performance. I really want him to work. And credit to the Bournemouth fans for clapping him off. It showed a lot of character from the Bournemouth fans. I know we're loyal and we'll always get behind our men, but there could have been boos or there could have been groans. There weren't. So, and I really hope it turns for him. But
I like to think that sort of stuff only comes if you think they're not giving their all and kind of shirking responsibility. And I wouldn't say that about Dongo. It's not a player that doesn't care, in my opinion. It's just not happening. It's just not happening for him. His first touch ain't right. He can't seem, nothing he does seems to work at the moment. But it's not that he's just walking around not caring. He's just not being very good, and that happens when people go for a bad run. And maybe it's catching up with him a little bit. They had no pre-season. I wonder if maybe he's come out the firing line. Having said that, I don't know. I assume he's going away international duty. maybe a goal or something out there might do him good. Who knows? Because he showed signs last season. I remember the game at home to Liverpool we won, and obviously got the winner at Tottenham. There's a player in there. I just think he's still a young lad, and I don't think he's quite ready yet to be starting games.
Whereas his name does raise eyebrows, I think it's contagious because now I think we're also going to be looking at other players after the last 90 minutes. We're going to be looking at Neto, we're going to be looking at Zavani, and there will be a few inclusions that will cause that. And look, we really do need a win, and it just seems to be at the moment there's not a lot going right, and we do need patience as fans. But the question has to be how much patience. There are people on social media talking about who's going to be the next Premier League sacking, and people have said that Iraola needs to go. And those words on only a few cherry lips at the moment.
I'm going to look while we're talking just because I'm interested to see if he is the favourite.
I think Heckingbottom
It's not a bad shout.
is top. And then I think there's one other, and then I think he's third at the moment. I don't know. You've got the latest odds, I'm sure, coming up. But
I have right this second. It's Heckingbottom is the favourite, but Iraola's now gone to second.
He's gone to second.
Over Ten Hag and Company. So, literally, and I remember like kind of before the game and stuff, he was like you say, he was a lot further down on the odds. So but as you say, I don't think so. I think the worrying thing is because people would say, I've seen a few people say it, like you didn't expect to get anything until Everton, and so basically you've lost one football match you thought you'd win. That's mental to then say, So I agree. I think that the problem.
That's what I mean. The talk's baffling, but in the same breath, you can understand it.
Well, what I was going to say is that I think if we had played. Shown signs of Anfield in the Brighton game, etc. in the last couple, or at least at Everton, you'd go, look, listen, this is awful at the moment, but there's signs that it's going to take a long time. I've said this consistently, to change a whole style of football, with new players added to that as well, injuries. It's my worry. It was after the Arsenal game, but I kind of thought, well, hang on, let's see it Everton, because it's Arsenal, as we've alluded to. My worry is in the last two games there has been no identity of Iraola at all. So now I'm starting to think, hang on, are these players suited to his style? Has he got the right players for his style, or is his style and his message not getting across to those players? Because we're looking no different in the last couple than we did last season.
When you look at that starting lineup, there's only one of the players on the pitch that he's actually brought in or has been brought in the summer transfer window, which is Cherries. Just one. So all the rest of them would have been used to playing a different style under O'Neill. But if you look to the bench, you've got Max Aarons, you've got Radu, you've got Traore. Technically, he signed in the summer transfer window. Cliver, Sinistera. Yet he's picking a side that is more used to playing a different style of football. So why is that? It seems to be very odd. And look, I think people are frustrated, and I think the frustration is exacerbated by the money we've spent. We're, as a club, we're taking more money in. People have parted with more money than ever before to clothe their children in AFC Bournemouth stuff, kits, training kits and stuff. And I think there's a number of factors that we're all asking questions about, which include recruitment of players, obviously the management of Iraola, the players themselves, the tactics, but also this sort of negative sentiment that seems to be going around the club at the moment, and that's both on and off the pitch. We're pondering things like, are we running before we can walk? Are we trying to maybe do too much too quickly? And has there been a naivety in thinking that splashing the cash just will equal success? Because I think in many ways, Tom, we've maybe been led up the garden path emotionally by all this spending and all the mentions of Europe in 5 years and all that kind of stuff. But actually, should we just maybe pull us back in a little bit and just think, this is a transitional season and we just need to get through it before we start seeing the fruits of what Andoni Iraola can do? It's hard to think that, though, when you've got all this like talent coming through your door, though, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah, and then when you're a Bournemouth fan as well, you're not used to this kind of stuff. The spending all this money is a little bit new to us. So I think, in the last year, we've literally, if you had said to me, it was about a year ago, wasn't it, the new ownership? And you had said to me, you're going to get a manager in that's used to kind of really attacking, exciting football compared to the one you've got currently. This, if I'm talking a year ago, you're going to get new ownership in. They're going to spend, over 150 million quid. You're going to get players in that are wanted by, you're thinking, how are they coming to Bournemouth? Sabani's, Cherries, Adams, Scott, Sinister. These sort of players are going to come into the club. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, this is exciting. It'd be mad for me not to get excited from where we've been at Bournemouth.
Was it Zabani that's on Football Manager or FIFA or something? He's supposed to be a...
Yeah, he's a wonder.
I was about to say, because the way that first goal happened, I thought it might as well be FIFA when I'm playing it, because I'm crap at consoles, and it's just one slip of the finger and then... But yeah, you're right.
It's the excitement levels. And
it is.
And they were, like I say, they were all there with the new ownership, and they were all there with this new coach that we're bringing in that's all going to be excited. And then they were just elevated by the money we were spending and, on paper, the quality of player. And then, as you say, if you take a step back a little bit and try and take the emotion out of it and go, right, what I've seen so far is the recruitment actually players that suit this style? Is Iraola managing to get this message across? Is his style that he wanted to do in Spain suited to England? Is it working? Clearly not at the moment. And now I'm starting to go, hang on a minute, we've got a 19-year-old kid at left back. We've got no other left back at the football club. We've got a couple of injuries at the back, so obviously we look really scarce there. I'm not confident with the goalkeeper, and then I've seen the backup goalkeeper, and he don't look any good. Then the third goalkeeper, I don't even know. I've only realised we still had him when he was in the team photo. And then you're going, well, we lost Lerma. Oh well, we spent loads of money. We haven't got a defensive midfield player available.
We had a year knowing that he was
Flanky
probably going
breaks
to
down.
go.
We've got Kiefer Moore. No disrespect, but so then you start going, well, hang on a minute. But I was really excited by the recruitment, and you started to question yourself, going, why was I excited? And then you start to think, is it just a little bit Football Manager, and you're just buying these players that look cool and look sexy, and you haven't really looked at the fact that they're always injured, or the fact that we don't need a fifth winger, we probably need a defensive midfield player, and all this stuff starts coming to head because of what you're seeing on the pitch.
Well, is it Footy Manager, but on a smaller scale maybe? Because
feels that way a little bit.
It feels like they're, I think that they obviously know the style that Iraola wants to implement, and they're getting the players that have got the attributes to match it, but just something isn't working. Now, I've got to just comment on a few things on social media over the weekend. Gary O'Neill, we got a point at home against Aston Villa, I think, yesterday. Brilliant performance from them, maybe. Was it? I don't know. I mean, it was 1-1 against Villa, high flying. However, there's a lot of, I don't know why, there's a lot of binary opinion out there about we should have kept O'Neill.
It's always going to be the case if this didn't work, but the simple fact is there is a world where getting rid of O'Neill, getting Iraola don't have to coincide in terms of, you can think that getting rid of O'Neill for Iraola was the right call, but it hasn't worked. But that doesn't mean we should have kept O'Neill. That's madness. Let's remember, by the way, I remember saying to you after the game, I said, that was so bad, that was the worst away performance, and I went, oh, since probably Palace. Yeah. Because really, I know now everyone will probably say, that was much worse. I remember being there. It was absolutely horrific. And we went on runs where we couldn't even get a shot off, consistently. I think we went 9 games without a win, but we barely had a shot in that time. Everyone's got short memories. And on what we're watching. And listen, we've all said loads of times, I have to keep repeating myself, that he got the job done. Fair play to him. And we didn't expect him to go. They obviously took that gamble because of Iraola. But to judge Iraola after this many games and say O'Neill's better is absolutely madness. I think if he's that good, well, how come if we beat him in a few weeks, we're only 2 points behind the bloody team?
Yeah, and also, like you say, there was some, that Palace, home and away, West Ham, home and away, yeah. Saints at home was absolutely diabolical. And there are a number of performances that you can look back at as being on par with what we saw under Iraola against Everton. But, that said, hang on, Gary O'Neill beat Man City though. Yeah, but he also beat Liverpool. He also beat Spurs, when he was playing for us as well. These isolated results will happen. And I think it was a tweet from Sophie on X who said, just because it's not working, it doesn't mean he was any good, or it was the right decision to get rid of him, regardless if this works out or not. Some very short memories out there. Yeah. And I think
100%.
And also, it's clear that different managers suit different clubs, and you always have this whereby a manager does brilliant at one club but maybe just doesn't quite work at another, and it may be that he does do well at Wolves, and fair play to him, but that doesn't mean he was therefore brilliant for us. And it's clear we are working towards vision. I think there's a lot of weird Schadenfreude going on, even with AFC Bournemouth fans that are looking at the Wolves games, tweeting about it and stuff, and almost laughing to himself that they've got the upper hand morally because oh, Wolves got another point, but Bournemouth, haha, you didn't. I was right, you were wrong. This point scoring is it's the most disuniting kind of stuff and unlikable sort of behaviour. I really don't like it.
Yeah, I think you have kind of like you do it in a football stadium where you have a bit of banter and stuff.
But you're doing that with the opposition.
Yeah, with the opposition fans. But that's what I was going to say. So I kind of I don't want to sound like I'm what's the word? Hypocritical, because I'm one of them ones. I think it was the Ipswich game in the cup. I went, oh, Wolves are 2-0 up. I wonder what's going to happen there. But I'm just having a laugh. I don't actually care. Who do I care if Wolves are ever in the cup or not? I can give it. You know what I mean? I care about us. And at the end of the day, at the moment, I would say, the win against City is bloody impressive. Anyone that beats City is impressive. Give him that 100%. And I think straight after I went, oh God, he's had one over me there. We're just having a laugh there. But in the grand scheme of things, I just want Bournemouth to do well. The reason I'd probably, say at the weekend wanted Villa to win, because I would think, tell me if I'm not, that we would be closer to Wolves this season than Villa. Yeah. So I'd rather them teams win them games, just like I wanted Newcastle to beat West Ham, because we might be slightly closer to West Ham. Probably not going to be close to either of them. But that's just what you do, because I care about Bournemouth. But in general, I think if you spoke to Wolves fans or just looked at it in general, I'd say, Wolves are about where I think they should be. There was a real surprise result, which was really good for them, like say with the City one. But really, I think I've watched them a few times. I think kind of what I expect. A lot of it's very similar. They certainly look more organised than we do defensively, but they don't create much until someone does a bit of brilliance. We had it a lot with Tavernier. I think Neto is, honestly, that guy. I checked weirdly because I thought, how old is Neto? He's only 23. I thought, I'll tell you what they're going to do. He's gone at the end and said, no disrespect to Wolves, but he's got to go to Europe. He is unbelievable. I wish I would think potentially we'd have a few more points if we had him on our wing. But listen, they're doing all right. I couldn't give a shit, to be honest with you. I care next time because we're playing them. Yeah. But if they come mid-table or similar to what they did last season, and Gary stays the whole season, then I'll go, and we go down, I'll go, we're wrong. He's obviously a better manager than we thought. We're in October, and at the moment, I still think we've got a very good chance of finishing around similar spots. I think the squad, there's not a lot in it. I think they've probably got a little bit more continuity there because we've got a lot of newer players than they have. But if they were to finish, say, mid-table, you go, fair play, Gary. I didn't think you had that in you. I thought Wolves would struggle more. Well done, mate.
Someone sent me a screenshot of something that someone said on a Facebook group. I have got Facebook, but I don't use it to go on the groups. But apparently we're pitiful YouTubers, by the way.
Are we YouTubers?
Apparently,
I'll take it.
Don't
they get good money, YouTubers?
We revelled and laughed at O'Neill's. Did we? Laughed at his departure.
No, I'll go back to our video when we let him go. I think we spoke to Mark McAdam, didn't we? I remember him coming on the show, and we said that. I remember liking it because Mark McAdam said wise words to me. Because I said, surely this is something along the lines of, surely this is a case of Iraola's available and they didn't want to miss out because they like him, rather than thinking O'Neill's not good enough. And that was when Mark said, yeah, absolutely. I think Bournemouth were happy to go into the season with Gary, but it was because Andoni was available. But we didn't cut. We came on and we're like, oh bloody hell, this is a bit exciting. We got a new manager. What's going on here? But we certainly weren't. They're like, he's gone. Not at all. He kept us up.
I think the frustration is because Gary O'Neill was a Bournemouth manager of the there and then, whereas Andoni Iraola is a manager of the future.
Yeah,
and he's a manager that's working towards a vision, something that isn't there yet, but something that we want to get to. So we've taken a risk in that. We've taken a risk by getting him on. And it's never going to work first time. I mean, like the order of the ingredients when you're making particular recipes, I think is important, and it is important. Say if you're
not bad in the kitchen as well.
Say if you're making a casserole like with a bit of bacon in. Put the bacon in at the very beginning, because then the juices and the taste from the bacon then infuse. You don't just chuck it on at the end, because it's not the same. At the moment, I feel as though he's got ingredients that he can't quite use. He can't open the packet. Like, he can't open that bacon packet. We've all tried to do that vacuum pack stuff. It's impossible. Alex Scott, never to be seen. Tyler Adams, you can't even open him. I think that when that is chucked into the mix, I genuinely think it's going to be exactly what we need. What are you doing there?
It's fine, it's going to look good.
Okay. But I
get you. I do get what you're saying. Even though I can barely do toast. But yeah, what I would say is I think I remember when I first started being a YouTuber. No, but when I first started coming on and we started like COVID time and that, I remember I got, which I get now, and I kind of tried to back Jason because of the fact that he was our number 2 and I loved him. Like, what everyone come back at me, which I would say, yeah, fair play. I was just trying to get behind him because I loved Tyndall. Was CV? There's no CV. He's got no CV. Why are we hiring someone with no CV? And then we got Woodgate. Well, he's got no CV. Why are we hiring someone with no CV? And then, well, Iraola's CV, look at his compared to Gary O'Neill. And now I gotta say I'm glad we've got Andoni Iraola, and people say I'm laughing. You can't see him win. But I think that's a fair point. I think O'Neill was perfect for the hero. I actually think if it's going over old ground, obviously he got the job done in the end, but I always felt that he was perfect interim, a bit like Woodgate was a little bit. He was perfect because he was brilliant at the interim. It was when he got the permanent job, it kind of didn't work as much. But
well, according to the baseline tracker, he wasn't even that good at the interim, going from 0 to -2. Oh no, we're not going to use that stat. But yeah, look, let's just talk about what happened in the game yesterday then, because I just find that it's so weird because we've got a particular style, this kind of marauding style, overlapping full-backs, all this kind of stuff. I just didn't see it. And Dom Solanke, I think you said on the fan cams and maybe even throughout the vlog that it just looks so isolated at times. There was a particular tactic that we seemed to be using, and that was Marcus Senesi invariably trying to pump the ball over the top to Donga Watara, who rarely won it, to be honest. And then I think Zabani was trying to do so from the other side, and the ball was played into Dom Solanke early, but there seemed to be this gargantuan amount of space between him and the midfielders. I just wonder whether the loss of not having a Jefferson Lerma or a Tyler Adams, who's obviously injured, where the players are just like too many players are trying to make up for it almost, because he's just he's so crucial to how we play. Yet Dom's up there on his own. The wingers are so wide, and there's just a massive amount of space. Whereas when Everton attacked, little old Everton, now no disrespect, but a team that a lot of people are thinking are going to go down and stuff, they were brilliant.
Yeah, they were.
They were really good, and they were they were sending men forward. They were underlapping. They were overlapping. Loads of options. Dom didn't have anything when he was up there.
No, and I mean, just quickly make the point before I forget, because we were talking about Watara. That's the only other thing that I was going to mention in terms of his inclusion. Because of the way, like you said, Celeste was playing them, did he think that was a tactic? Ashley Young's not the biggest.
To stretch them.
And Dango is a little bit, well, he is actually a lot better than all our other wingers in the air normally.
Yeah.
So was he thinking, Ashley Young's quite small, we can target that. That's all and that's why he started on the left. That's all I'm just trying to make a point there for the selection, not that it worked. But yeah, I agree, and what I've gone over this a few times, but we always say about Dom being isolated. What's mad is that the ball goes up to Dom, and like you said, there's a massive gap, no one's near him. Then their ball goes up to, on this occasion, Calvert-Lewin, and there's a massive gap. Where's everyone else? Yeah. Because the defenders always look like they're on their own and they're in. Every time they go forward, they're in. Every time we go forward, there's no one there. So where are all the players? I don't really understand where everyone is. And my concern in the last few games is I don't know if them players know where they're supposed to be. No. That's my concern. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't look like anyone really is sure of their role. There's times where Lewis, you can see him kind of thinking, I'm the defensive midfield player here, I'll sit here. And then other times he's charging forward like he's been told, no, go and press. But then he's like, but then I'm leaving a hole, but am I supposed to press? And it all just feels a little bit, does feel a bit chaotic, to be fair. But it's not with any sort of organisation about it at all. No sort of, it just doesn't seem like the players understand. And I might be completely wrong, it just might not be implemented well. But to me, on the eye, it doesn't look like they get what they're being told to do.
I mean, Phil Billing is still being played too deep. I mean, the fact that when Zabani made his error to set James Garner in, the fact that Phil Bill was the nearest player to a centre-back that was dribbling it out, perhaps says it all. He should have been a lot further up the pitch. So you're just thinking, where Dom Solanke was, there was no one around him. So, yeah, it's a big concern. Zabani's one of the players that I had concerns after that 90 minutes, that slip, and there was a moment at the start of the second half that I didn't even see, actually, by the way. It was on Match of the Day.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
He just slipped. He just slipped, and I think, was it Decore who managed to get a shot on goal? But my goodness me, really bad. He was going to play it out wide, and then he decided to go back, lost the ball, and then there was a shot on goal. Yeah,
well, also, I personally think this is just my personal opinion. Some people have said that they've seen that coming. I personally think that's by far his worst game. I don't think he's been a bad for us. No. Even in the Arsenal game, I thought, he was all right in his duels. He hasn't been unbelievable lately. But I think he's been pretty consistent, and that was an awful game. Whereas Senesi, I think since kind of the Swansea Cup game, because you remember he got dropped for Kelly and then he had to come back in because of Kelly's injury. I think he's been hopeless, and I don't know what's happened because he was brilliant before that. So Senesi, I think he's been consistently having bad weeks, whereas Zabani, I felt like it was I'm hoping a one-off.
But do you think it's too much too quickly? Because they're obviously being told to play a different way, but also on the ball as well. They need to get a feel for the ball when maybe previously in their previous clubs they didn't play to that style.
No,
and Zabani's been expected to like dribble it out, and he's not only doing that, he's trying to work out who he's passing to next. It's a lot that we seem to be deploying fairly quickly. No wonder it's all going wrong.
Yeah, potentially. And I think I remember seeing Zabani not that long ago against England for Ukraine, where he just pocketed Harry Kane all game, because all he was doing was just stood there winning his duels. He's quite good at his duels, like, and obviously he's a big lump really. And then he was just clearing stuff and head stuff, but he wasn't overcomplicating it. It feels like he's when he takes that drive inside, I think he thinks, I need to go into the space, and this is kind of what I'm supposed to do, and it's not comfortable to him. And all things like that could come in time. These are young players. I'm over a decade older than Zabani, for God's sake. So, this can come. But unfortunately, at the moment, we've got to go off what we're watching. At the moment, we are hopeful it will come. But right now, it isn't happening, mate. And it's a worry.
So he's one that was obviously at fault. Was Neto 50-50 on this? Because I think he flails. I chatted to John Spark at half-time. He sort of said, maybe you can forgive it because he got a little bit of a push or a shove or something like that he was clattered into. But he had a couple of moments where he's almost being advised to punch out, but that last one especially was... what a goal, by the way. What a controlled... Beautiful strike, and it's always better when it hits the underside of the crossbar and goes in as well. It looked amazing.
Didn't realise how good it was.
Really good control finish. But you were getting very irate. Yeah, a lot of people were.
Yeah, and I always try and counteract it because I'd like to say that when he came into the club, I think it was at Forest, wasn't it? His first game under O'Neill. After a 9-0 defeat, he come in and he calmed the place down. It felt like we had a Brazilian international goalkeeper that's played for Barcelona in the sticks, and he really helped us last season. This season, personally, for me, I don't see a good goalkeeper. People chuck stats sometimes with saves and that. It does my head in because the amount of chances we give up, he's going to save some. Surely he's a goalkeeper. That's what he's supposed to do. And I think he made one save and it was the right reaction, a straight down and throat. You should say, if he doesn't save that, Jesus.
Yeah.
First goal, I thought... I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because I think he's trying to look round Lewis Cook, when Garner but he actually hits that shot straight down the middle.
He uses him as a shield.
Yeah, he does do it well, so I'm not going to go. But when there's goalkeepers that punch a lot, a lot of goalkeepers like to punch, but you feel like they're in control. Like when a cross is coming in, they're punching, if that's a good punch, he's coming and he's getting control of the situation, just punching it out. Every cross that comes in, and I'm telling you, they were targeting him. They were targeting him early. And the crosses, he looks like he don't know what he's... Sometimes he comes, sometimes he doesn't. Even the last goal, he's cutting across his goal. He's always in his own net half the time.
And even after Calvert-Lewin hit the crossbar, he grabs the ball, rolls it out straight to him. I think he's trying to get Solanke, didn't. Got intercepted. And
There's one point where we're playing, and I think someone says go long, one of the players, can't remember who it was, and he just dinks it straight back to their... I think his distribution's all over the place.
Do you think our captains are struggling under the weight of having the armband? Because Lloyd did. They gave it to Neto. I'm just trying to think, who was the last captain for AFC Bournemouth that you thought he's a captain?
Steve Cook, maybe?
Steve Cook,
maybe.
I think that's about right. Tommy Elphick, obviously.
Yeah, of course. I think it's a weird one. I always felt like Kelly was fine when Cahill was next to him, and then he started struggling when Cahill come out. I think Nat Phillips come in, and then it struggled a little bit. But you always go, he had Cahill next to him. But yeah, I mean, that's something you could look into a little bit, I guess. Just at the moment, just off the eye test, for me personally, I don't think we've got a very good goalkeeper, and that's just me being honest. I honestly don't think he's that good. He's not very good at kicking it. I don't like him from crosses. There's been a lot of goals that we've said prior to this show that he's already in the net when they edit. I'm not convinced, mate. But don't get me wrong, we've only seen very short amount against Stoke, had nothing to do. And in the Swansea game, I wasn't convinced by the little thing I saw with Radu. It's a little bit of a concern. And then you start looking at things, don't you? And I go, Asmir Begovic at QPR. Can't we have him back?
And also, was Travers ever that bad? And
I think the difference is, don't get me wrong, I always felt...
We'll always do that as football fans. We'll always question it.
Of course.
Ben Pearson could do a job now.
Oh, Ben Pearson would get in the team now. so would Sariki Dembele and Jane Nantley, in my opinion, at the moment. But yeah, I think Travers. My concern with Travers was always being commanding from crosses, but the goalkeeper we've got now, I don't think is commanding from crosses either.
No, absolutely not.
I just think there would be a lot of criticism if he was a young goalkeeper. You go, he's not ready. I think because he's older and an experienced goalkeeper, all going, well, he must be good. Well, actually, maybe he's not. I hope it all changes because I think it was the Chelsea game. He had a very, very good game. So yeah, I hope it all changes. I worry. Maybe it's part of as well. He's not trusting the players in front of him as much, and there's just this whole collective thing that just spirals through. And because listen, no one had a good game. If I said it on my player ratings that I do on the Telegram that the only player that I gave an average mark that then ends up having to be man of the match was Marcus Tavernier, and that was only because I felt that he actually tried to run at people and he tried to make things happen. It never really paid off, but he tried, and he played right wing, left back, right back, all over the place, and he tried to make things happen. Apart from that, I think Rothwell was okay when he come on. I thought everyone else was pretty rubbish.
Yeah. I think a lot of people were mentioning Iraola and the way he handled certain questions. And I think, obviously, when he's going to be asked about his own player, you're going to defend him. You're not going to throw Neto under the bus publicly. And there are a few people saying, well, he's not telling it as it is like he has done so far. He's changing. That's not the case.
Remember why we got rid of Scott Parker, by the way?
Yeah,
if he'd come out and gone, our goalkeeper was useless today. I was surprised that he said he's doing well.
Yeah.
He's not doing well, is he?
No.
But I think he just should have just said, look, we let in stupid goals today. It's a collective. No one's at fault. But yeah, I don't want him to come out and have a go at our individual players. I'd be mad.
Someone said something on X that I looked at and I just thought, yeah, maybe you're right. Does this, in some ways, remind you of Eddie's last season?
Oh, don't say that.
But in a way, we had some. We
used to bring on Sam Surridge, bring on Kiefer Moore. Oh god.
But we had a bloody good squad.
Yeah,
we really did, and we so underperformed. We so underperformed, and
it was pretty dull, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's horrible,
especially for Eddie Howe football that we all laud about, and rightly so. I think we're
so. This is the other sort of side of the argument. Maybe does he need to learn another way to play a little bit?
I think it's a difficult one because if we suddenly completely change the style and rip it all up, I then personally question that because I go, Jesus Christ, if I had a manager that we've worked all pre-season and playing this certain style, and after how many games we played? 7, 8? 8 games. He went, we're not doing this anymore. I'll go, bloody hell, you don't believe in yourself, do you? Jesus, why am I going to listen to you if you've ripped up your whole philosophy as a manager in 8 games? So yeah, I think there's got to be a balance to that. I think you can keep your style and the way of playing and tweak a few bits. I think you could do that. I think there was even times in certain games this season where we played certain calibre of opposition, and I think fullbacks, you've been told, don't go too high. That's just a little tweak, isn't it? Because you go in, think of the opposition, Kirk has have a think, you got Saka, for example.
I'm just wondering whether he picked the players on Saturday with the opposition in mind, almost played to the strengths or weaknesses in his head for the opposition,
right?
Like playing Donga Watara on the left side where he was up against Ashley Young, rather than just concentrated on the things we're good at. I mean, there are a few things that people have suggested on the forums, like putting Radu in goal. When Kelly's fit, playing Mepham and Kelly as our central defensive two. Mepham never really puts a foot wrong. Rothwell and Cook playing them centrally, like you maybe have said.
I think that'll happen at Wolves.
Phil Bill being closer to Dom, starting with maybe Brooksy or Semenyo.
Yeah, I think
who's been great because he's a bustling character, isn't he? And I don't know. I mean, what would you do if you were Andoni Iraola for the next game? Because
it's a difficult one because of the international break.
Yeah, Wolves have had a couple of suspensions, by the way, haven't they?
Yeah, ideal actually. Semedo, the good fullback, has picked up his 5th booking, and obviously Lamina ex-Scummer, he got sent off, and it was 2 yellows, so they can't appeal it. So that's handy. But I think obviously it's all going to depend because of internationals. You know what's going to happen. We don't. Meps could go out to. He's going with Wales, so he could go out there and then go, oh, he's not fit enough. So he could go out there and have a blinder.
Yeah. And
we go, well, let's get him back in. He's full of confidence. So you never quite know how they're going to come back. I think he will go Rothwell and Cook with Billing closer, and I think he will think this is a good way of trying it because I can easily take Christie out because he's the only one out of them that's going away. and Christie will probably get minutes, so I think he might come out this is all a few weeks in advance, of course, but I think them three might play. I think Rothwell, Cook and Billing might be the three. Out wide, I'm not sure. I'll be very shocked if Dongo starts again. I think Tav's done enough. I think you could play any of the others. It wouldn't shock me if he goes Clivert, or Semenyo. I think he likes pace, and I don't think he's trusting Brooks out wide. Right. But if that's the case, I think, okay, well, if Billing's not working, I'd rather Brooks than Christie, because at least he's got a little bit more in terms of numbers. I would assume Aarons will come back in. Centre half's going to be... I can't see Kelly being back. I don't know how close he is. This is another thing. He's not going away. So Lloyd Kelly might get a lot of working on the grass, and they might realise he's ready. Yeah. If I'm not being funny, if they're all fully fit, then Kelly's got to play, and you'd probably say Kelly and Zabani, but let's see how Mepham does.
Certainly need someone quick
Neto
and pacey up.
Yeah,
we'd certainly need someone quick and pacey up against Neto on their right side, because he's quality.
It literally, this game could all come down to Neto, and it could be either of them.
Yeah, yeah, I know. That's the thing. Look, we're
their goalie was bloody good at the weekend. Jose Sarr, by the way, Jesus.
I think that there's a lot of negativity brewing. There is, and this result just exacerbates it, really. And we've talked about the, even the initial season ticket issues with the women's games bundled in, the ticket price rises, the removing of the 1910 bar hospitality, King's Plaza, the gimmicks that we don't really warm to yet, and amid a background of tangible training ground activity, though, we're at a sort of dichotomy. Like, well, we can see that stuff's actually happening, but the stuff that we're experiencing is not particularly good. And amid these price rises and sacrifices that us fans are having to go through, I think it could all be forgiven if things were on the pitch going well. At the moment, they're not. Yeah. We've got to, we have to have faith, but obviously we'll continue to ask the questions, and on social media it is toxic. Oh, if I could say one thing, just take a breath. We need to get behind the manager. Even at 2-0 down, we were still singing Iraola's name, by the way. Inside Goodison Park, those were singing his name, and we're all saying the things we're saying on social media, but we are still behind him. And
clapped him off, and to be fair, because I know earlier in the season people were saying about him not coming over. He came over in front of it, by the way. He was right over in front of the fans.
And also, Robert De Zerbi's start at Brighton was not pretty at all, by the way.
I tell you what, that's got me excited, baby.
Yeah, I know. And look, it is tough. It's a tough one to dissect. This isn't the last conversation we're going to be having over this next 2 weeks about this, by the way, because we appreciate it's a shorter second look, but we also realise that you don't really want to be sitting through a whole hour of this kind of stuff. Remember, you can support the channel by going to afcbpodcast.com/coffee. We truly appreciate all of the lovely comments that we've had. This conversation has not finished for us. Tom, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, mate. Whereas it's not here today, right? Last time we won a league game. Remember it? Leeds.
Yeah.
What do we have at Leeds? The rally flags, baby. Bring the rally flags back. You said about rally flags. That's Windsor Skate. Where is it? There, come on. Well, I forgot one. I'll tell you what, rally bags back. 3 points against Wolves. Come on.
You Reds.
Oh, let's go and watch England. Jesus.